Hey there, BookTube. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be telling you about my Re-Readathon TBR. I mix mediums. I blog as well as I vlog. So I have a blog, runright.net. You should check me out there. I started my blog because I run and I like to write about running and about fitness and about working out and so on, even when I don't do them. Since I've expanded my blog to include my reading, I write and I read a lot, and I now include a lot of things about books on my blog. And one of my book blogger friends, her blog is An Armchair by the Sea. She's hosting a Re-Readathon that starts today, August 10th. And it lasts for 10 days, and I said, why not? Let's give it a go. Let's try it out. So the Re-Readathon lasts for 10 days. And the objective is to choose a couple of books that you have already read and love and reread those books, as well as read some other books, however many books you can read in 10 days. Now, if you've watched my previous videos, you'll know that I've tried a couple of readathons so far. I tried the BookTubeathon. I didn't read the 7 books that I planned. I tried the 7 and 7 readathon last week. I didn't read the 7 books that I thought that I'd be able to read. This lasts for 10 days, which is why I think this is a better shot for me, because some weeks I plan to be light weeks where I'll be able to read a lot of books, and then the week just somehow gets away from me. I have a lot of work, which is what happened last week with the 7 and 7. And just like I started off on day 1, day 2, day 3, I read my 3 books, and then on day 4 I just didn't have time to read at all, so I didn't complete anything else. So this time I have 10 days. And I'm making a more conservative estimate of my TBR. I have chosen for 6 books to read in 10 days. So because a couple of them are rereads, I'm thinking that they'll be a little easier to get through. So I'll just go ahead and share with you the 6 books that I have on my TBR. The first book that I'm going to be rereading is Love in the Time of Cholera, Gabriel Garcia Marquez. I first read this book about 7 years ago when I was in college. I probably read it because I was just so upset that I'd never read Gabriel Garcia Marquez before. I just heard about him, just learned about him, was very excited to read this book, and so I just kind of borrowed through it. I don't know if I got everything, all the imagery, all the messages, everything that I should have gotten from this book. And so, because since then, Gabriel Garcia Marquez has gone on to become one of my favorite writers. And so I feel like I need to reread this book to make sure that I have gotten everything that he has for me in this book. So that's the first book that I'm planning to get through. The next book on my list is Liane Moriarty, Truly Madly Guilty. This is not a reread because it's a brand new release, but I've been waiting for months for this book to come out, and so I can't wait for 10 more days to start reading this book, so it's going to be on my list. The next book that I'm going to be reading is Boy Snowbird by Helen Oyeyemi. She is a Nigerian author. She's a very talented writer. She's on a list of best young British novelists. I haven't read anything by her yet, and I saw this. I picked it up. I'm very interested to see what it's about. Boy Snowbird. I'm just going to read it blind. I usually don't go through synopses to try to figure out whether or not I want to read a book. I choose a book based on who the author is, what the cover looks like, and so on. The next book on my list is Gillian Flynn's Dark Places. I haven't read this one yet. I'm trying to read all the books that she has written or published, and so this is the last of her publications that I haven't gotten to yet, and so I want to get through this one. I already read Gone Girl, really enjoyed it. Read Sharp Objects, liked it. Read Book Growing Up, which is a short story, like that. And so this is the last on my list of Gillian Flynn books. Can't wait to see what it's about. Helen Fielding's Bridget Jones' Diary is the next on my list. This is a book that I've owned for a long time, and I read it once. I really enjoyed it. I don't know why I never reread it again. Maybe because I'm not really in the habit of rereading all my novels. But I really enjoyed this book. And I read the 2nd installment. I don't own the 2nd installment, but I read it. And that prompted me to buy the movies. So I bought the Bridget Jones' Diary. And, yep, I bought the 2nd one, which is Bridget Jones' The Edge of Reason. And then I was waiting for many years for Helen Fielding to come out with a 3rd book or something new. And it turns out she released a 3rd book, which I haven't read. And there's a 3rd movie, which is how I knew that there was a 3rd book. And I was like, where have I been? So since I want to get back into the Bridget Jones series, I decided to reread the first book and to pick up the second book and start looking for it someplace. So that's on my list for the next 10 days. And my nonfiction read is George S. Classon's The Richest Man in Babylon. I've already read this book, and so this next time that I read it, it's going to be not just a reread but a study, because this book I think is very integral in really understanding how to acquire wealth, how to build wealth, and how to keep wealth, which is something that I've been studying for a while now. And so I recommend this book to everyone that I talk to. It's on my list of books that I recommend. And I feel like my copy shouldn't be so clean. When I first read it, it was a copy that I'd gotten from the library. And so I recently acquired this one. I recently got my own copy. And so now I'm going to be filling it up with my Post-its. So for me, this is on my list of rereads. So for the next 10 days, that's what I'm going to be reading. Follow me, check me out, encourage me. This time I really want to do this. 10 days, 6 books. I know I can do it. I know I can do it. I mean, come on. I read 6 books in a week. Why can't I read 6 books in 10 days? And so for the next 10 days, this is my plan. So I'll be sharing with you. This time I plan to do like a daily recap, a daily vlog, just to let you know how my reading is going. So keep on watching, follow me, subscribe to my channel, and leave me a comment down below and let me know what you're reading right now. Which one of these books maybe you've read before and what your thoughts are, or if you have any tips on how I can stay focused for the next 10 days to complete these 6 books. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later. Bye.